ago. I am originally from Lincoln, Nebraska, and I attended the University of Kansas. Prior to coming to Sanford, I did Teach for America in Dallas, Texas, and my current policy focus is education policy.
Hi, I'm Luis Maez. I'm from Arlington, Virginia. I attended the University of Virginia. Before coming to Sanford, I was a Foreign Service Officer with the United States Agency for International Development. And here at Sanford, I'm studying the intersection of public and private sector in international development.
Hi, my name is Adrienne Jones. I am a first-year MPP from Goldston, North Carolina. I completed my undergrad at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Between undergrad and coming to Sanford, I did a year of AmeriCorps service in Washington, D.C. And here at Sanford, my interests are budget and tax policy.
Hi, I'm Helene McAdams. I'm Director of Student Services and Program Development for the Master of Public Policy program at the Sanford School of Public Policy at Duke University. My job basically is to help students once they matriculate, see the program through from cradle to grave, from orientation through graduation.
Helene McAdams is the greatest woman ever. Helene is fantastic. She cares about us so much. She's always looking out for us, and she is amazing, and I love her.
Helene McAdams pulled my brother out of a burning building.
Helene, she's so hot right now. Helene.
All you got to talk about is how you feel about Helene.
I love her. Is that enough? Is that recording right now? Oh my God!
People often ask me about Helene, and really the best thing I can say is that woman has forgot more things than I can ever hope to know in my whole entire life.
Helene McAdams invented a form of working cold fusion, but she prefers to do admission stuff.
Helene, could you tell me a little bit about the requirements for the two-year MPP program?
Sure. For the two-year MPP program, students take a minimum of 51 credits to graduate. There is the option to take more credits, but most students take one semester of 15 credits and 3 semesters of 12 credits. Your tuition is a flat rate tuition, which would allow you to take up to, with Director of Graduate Study permission, up to 18 units in your second through fourth semesters. However, the workload can be pretty heavy, so we recommend that you consider your time that you have available to do the work and the amount of stress that might cause you, want you to balance that out. There are 2 semesters of policy analysis, 2 semesters of microeconomics, 2 semesters of statistics and quantitative analysis, 1 semester, 1 course of ethics, and 1 semester, 1 course of politics. And there is some flexibility in there for your core classes. There may be an option based upon your previous academic record and experience to waive out of 1 or 2 of the required classes. You'll hear more about that later on today and throughout the time in your preparation and during orientation before you would start the MPP program. You also have a 2-semester master's project that you complete in your second year, and you do fall and spring for that. That's worth 6 credits. You end up with 7 or 8 elective courses, mostly taken in the second year.
Can you talk a little bit more about the master's project that second-year MPPs have to complete? Is it a project that you were assigned? Do you pick the project on your own? Can you just explain a little bit more about that process?
Yes, all students, whether they're dual degree or 2-year students, do complete a master's project for which you receive 6 credits. The project is completed in your second MPP year. The first semester is a course that you would take 807 that prepares you to get your project developed, finding a client, honing your question, and then getting up to a prospectus, which is sort of your plan going forward with your MP. The second semester is your final spring, would be the writing of the project, working one-on-one with your MP faculty advisor whom you select and agree with to work on the project. Some of these projects have clients, some of them are more quantitative and would have a shadow client, which means that the project would be applicable for multiple clients and is a little bit more, has a stronger analytical piece.
So Helene, what other program milestones and requirements do you have to complete besides the 51 hours?
So in addition to the courses that you take, we do have a summer internship requirement. It's not graded, but it is required. Our Career Services Office helps you plan for this. You can have a domestic internship, an international internship. The Summer in Geneva program can also offer opportunities for an internship. It's usually a 12-week commitment in the summer between your first and second year, even for dual degree students. So after your first full public policy year, you would have your summer internship before the second year of your program or the final year.
Helene, how do we choose policy concentrations and what kind of tracks are there as options at Sanford?
Not every student chooses to concentrate. I would say that about 50% of MPP students decide that they want to be generalists and not pick a particular area of concentration. The concentrations at Sanford are fairly informal, meaning they don't show up on your transcript. They are an internal certificate. The requirements to complete that certificate are fairly mild in that they don't take away a lot of your electives. It's really a requirement of 3 courses. One that would be considered a foundation class, and 2 that are elective courses in that area. You'd also need to complete your master's project in the area of concentration, and then your summer internship should also be related to that area. Right now we have 7 concentrations, and we're excited because 2 are new for the coming academic year. The concentrations are global policy, social policy, health policy, population studies, national security, energy and environment policy, which is a new concentration for us, and international development policy. We've got faculty members who are assigned or have taken on the role as leaders for those concentrations who help advise students on course of study.
Right. Helene, a question about research assistantships or teaching assistantships. Could you provide a little bit more information on how those work and what they are and when they would start?
So there are a lot of opportunities at Sanford for students to have a teaching, research, or graduate assistantship, what we call TA-RAGA. Some of you in your letters that were offered to you said you may be eligible for 2-year domestic U.S. students who qualify for work study are eligible for the assistantship. There's an assignment process where students complete an application based on job descriptions developed by faculty for core course teaching assistantships, mainly in the undergrad core, plus sometimes the MPP core for your second year, and then research assistantships with faculty at Sanford, and graduate office assistantships, including the admissions office at Sanford, the communications office, the development office. So there are opportunities to work in administration at Sanford as well. We recommend that students do their first internship, so you have 2 semesters of internships guaranteed if you're a 2-year MPP domestic student, that your first semester of internship be your first spring. That first fall is pretty intense. You're taking all core courses. You're adapting from the work world or from undergraduate to graduate studies program. So it takes a lot of additional time to do, and an assistantship is 10 to 12 hours of work a week. So it's like adding another course. So if you're choosing to take 5 core classes in your first semester, which a majority of MPPs do, you have the option to do 5 or 4, and they're all core classes, adding that assistantship in that semester might be a bit overtaxing. So we recommend that that first spring be your assistantship. I work with you based on what you tell me in your application about your interests, your skill set, and your ranking of the jobs that are available based on what the faculty also needs, and we make a match. There is a little bit of flexibility. Your schedule is really important. We always tell students that your academic schedule and course schedule comes first. So we never make you compromise your schedule for an assistantship assignment. You'll have your second assistantship in the following fall, or your second fall. If you're dual degree, or if you're an international student, you still complete the application for an assistantship every semester that you're interested. If we have jobs that 2-year MPP students can't fill, we tap the dual degree and or the international student population to fill those jobs. And they pay $4,000 per semester, and it's $1,000 per month for 4 months.
So Helene, I know there are students at Sanford who pursue a dual degree. Can you tell me a little bit more about the requirements of the dual degree and how to go through the process of completing that?
There are 2 ways students have a dual degree. They either enter having been accepted into both an MPP and a dual degree program at Duke or UNC, or they decide after or midway through their first year to add a dual degree or to attempt to apply to another Duke school or UNC for law and or business to get a dual degree. The typical way when you come in enrolled in both is you do your MPP year first, and you need to take 30 credits in that MPP year, and then you go off to your MBA program at, say, Fuqua School of Business. You finish a full year there, and in the third year of your program, you would do 9 units with us, 6 of them being the master's project plus 1 elective, and then the rest of the program would be your dual degree units at Fuqua or at UNC's business school. The law program obviously is 4 years, so the 2 middle years of your program would be spent at the law school, either at UNC or at Duke. It is possible if you add the degree, what would happen to your units is that you would have finished our year, and then you would start your blended year at the sister school.
So, Helene, in terms of living, where do students live? And I know I have a car. Is it something that I should bring? Is it easy to get around Durham?
Most graduate students live in the Durham community right outside of campus. There's very limited on-campus housing dedicated to graduate students, and most graduate students would prefer not to live in on-campus housing. I would say most apartment complexes are between 1 and 8 miles outside the campus. Some of them are close enough for you to walk or bike to Duke, and Duke has a big initiative on promoting those forms of transportation. There's also a bus that runs on campus that is free, and it has, it reaches out far enough to some of the apartment complexes that are close to campus. Many students choose to live with other students in housing outside of campus, even small homes that are just in the community as opposed to an apartment complex. But it is possible to park and to bring your vehicle with you, or if you don't have a vehicle, you don't necessarily have to buy one or get your license or get a North Carolina license and drive. But the majority of people do live right off campus. There's a Duke Community Housing Office, and I have a web link for that that we can post so that you can check and see listings in the area. And I think there's a good network of students. We have a housing survey, too, to let you know general prices and what the amenities are.
Adrian, I know you went to UNC undergrad. How do you live with yourself?
I mean, honestly, I justify going to school here by saying that I am, of course, UNC educated, and Duke is just kind of a means to an end that I need to get to at some point in life.
I know you've got your son, Santiago. How do you deal with so many people who want to babysit him?
Well, no, it's true. We've got a good class. Folks are willing to help. I just go with the first person who gets back to me. It's the easiest.
Yeah, but never certain people.
Oh, there are people that maybe would be more desirable than others, I guess you would say.
And Cassie?
Luis has never let me babysit. I've asked, and he tells me no every time.
Brutal.
I'm a Kansas fan through and through. There's a few of us at school who went to big basketball schools beforehand, like Adrian at UNC, and like some Michigan people, Indiana people, and we're kind of Duke-haters when it comes to basketball, and we're okay with that. And it's okay if you're from a big basketball school or other athletic school, you can be a fan of your school. It's okay. Perfect. It's actually more fun, I think.
When you said big basketball schools, you didn't mention UVA, University of Virginia. What about us?
They're holding their own in the NIT tournament, and that is something not to be discouned. A win is a win, right? You're not Kentucky.
That's right. We're still playing. We're still playing.
Still playing. Should I say something nicer?
No, that was perfect. Don't worry. I'm gonna edit this so it's funny. Don't worry about it. And Helene,
Yes.
I know you forget students' names sometimes. I mean, come on.
Well, we're all stardust, so I can always go with that.
That's great.
But, it's not until probably you graduate. So I'll get it right. And I spend a lot of time memorizing that Facebook before you show up.
Perfect.
Nice.